Insulation is one of those build steps that gets a lot of opinions thrown at it, and for good reason. It's the layer that determines how comfortable your van is in heat and cold, moisture control, and how quiet things are when you're driving down the highway. And it gets covered up behind everything else once it's done, so of course it's important to get it right. In this video, I'll walk you through the most common insulation materials and what actually matters when choosing between them, the materials and tools you'll need, and the most important things to know before you start. This is a beginner to intermediate job, but it can be tedious work that takes time. Plan for 2 to 4 full days depending on your van size and how thorough you get. Let's get into it. Section 1, Common Types and Features. There are a handful of insulation options that show up consistently and work well in van builds. Here are the main ones worth knowing. First is Thinsulate, specifically 3M's SM600L. This is probably the most popular choice in DIY van builds right now. It doesn't absorb water, it manages moisture well, it's easy to cut and stuff into cavities, and it doesn't off-gas. It's not the highest R value per inch, but it's well suited to the vehicle environment. Downside is the price. It can be more expensive than these other options. Second, sheep's wool. Havelock wool is the most common brand here. Similar story to Thinsulate. It naturally manages moisture, doesn't mold, and dampens sound well. It's a natural product, and a lot of builders like that. It's also pricey. Third is rigid foam board, polyiso, XPS, or EPS. High R value per inch and great for flat surfaces like the floor and large wall panels. It doesn't fit easily into the curved ribs and cavities of a van though, so most builds use it alongside another material rather than on its own. Fourth is closed cell spray foam. This is the highest R value per inch of any common option, acts as its own vapor barrier, and gets into every crevice. Downsides, it's expensive, it could require a pro to install, and it's permanent. If you ever need to access wiring behind it, you're cutting it out or just running new wire in front. And a quick note on Reflectix and bubble foil. You'll see this stuff a lot in van builds, but it only works as a radiant barrier when there's an air gap on at least one side. Pressed flat against metal, it does almost nothing. So use it for window covers, not as your primary insulation. Here are 4 features to weigh as you choose your insulation type. Number 1, moisture management. A van interior produces a lot of moisture. Breathing, cooking, showering. Insulation that holds onto water and doesn't release it will rot your van from the inside out. This is the single most important factor. Number 2, R value per inch. Higher means better insulating power and less space. This matters most in the floor and ceiling where every inch counts. Number 3, sound dampening. Some materials are noticeably better at this than others. Wool and Thinsulate do well here. Rigid foam does not. And number 4, workability. Can you cut it with scissors and stuff it into curved ribs without special tools? That matters more than you may think over the 30+ hours you'll spend on this step. Now on to section 2, materials and tools. The material list depends on your chosen insulation, but many builds end up using a combination. One material for the large cavities and panels, often something rigid for the floor. You'll also want sound deadener. Killmat, Noiko, and Dynamat are the common names. This goes on before insulation and dampens vibration in the large metal panels. Beyond that, you'll need spray adhesive, 3M90 is the standard, and foil tape for sealing seams on any rigid foam. For tools, you'll need a sharp utility knife or scissors for cutting insulation, a roller for the sound deadener, a tape measure, a marker, gloves, and a dust mask, depending on the material. Cardboard for making templates of complex shapes is also a big time saver. If you're going the spray foam route, the list looks pretty different. A lot of builders hire a pro for this step, and that's often the right call. But if you're doing it yourself with a DIY kit like Froth Pack or Touch and Foam, here's what you'll need. The spray foam kit itself. Size it to your van's square footage. These kits cover less than the box claims once you account for waste and the cavity depth you're filling. Order more than you think you need. Full PPE. This is not optional, so a full Tyvek suit, nitrile gloves, eye protection, and critically a respirator with organic vapor cartridges. A standard dust mask will not protect you from the isocyanates in the spray. This stuff is no joke during application. Plastic sheeting and painter's tape. Mask off everything you don't want foam on, windows, the floor, any wiring you don't want covered, and any trim or hardware. Overspray is almost impossible to fully remove once it cures. Also, you'll need a long serrated knife or handsaw. Spray foam often expands past flush with the ribs, and you'll need to trim it back so your wall panels sit flat against the framing. And also good ventilation during and after. Run your roof fan, open the doors, and stay out of the van for at least 24 hours after spraying while it fully cures and off gases. I'll link everything in the description below. below. Section 3, install tips. 3 things to keep in mind for anyone tackling this for the first time. Number 1, sound deadener goes on first. This is a separate product from insulation, and it gets applied directly to the large, flat metal panels, doors, walls, ceilings, floor. You don't need to cover 100% of the surface. 25 to 75% coverage on the largest panels is plenty. Roll it down firmly so it adheres. This step happens before any insulation goes in. Tip number 2, fill cavities completely but don't compress. Every rib, channel, and cavity in the van should be filled. These are all opportunities that will leak heat and create condensation points if you don't. But don't jam the insulation in so tight that it compresses. Compressed insulation loses most of its R value, so stuff in firmly so that it stays in place but no tighter. And tip number 3, think hard about moisture before you commit. So this is where a lot of builds go wrong. Their traditional house building approach uses a vapor barrier, but a van is not a house. It's a metal box that flexes and changes temperature constantly. Most experienced van builders skip a strict vapor barrier and instead use materials that can handle and release moisture on their own. If you go this route, make sure your ventilation, that roof fan that you installed, is sized to actually move air through the space. And that's the insulation overview. Done well, this step pays off every single day you live in the van. Quieter on the roads, warmer in the winter, cooler in the summer, and dry inside the walls. Take your time, choose materials that handle moisture, and don't skip the sound deadener. If this was helpful, check out the other van build step videos linked here. Each one is the same format, a grounded overview so you know what you're getting into before you start. Good luck with your build. See you in the next step.
Yay, vans!